Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of Carson's Take 5 with Ryan and Sonu. Sonu, we're titling this one, There is Some Good News Out There. What a difference a week makes, because obviously
Oh,
last
yeah.
week things were pretty scary. But before we go there, where are you now? As you're on sabbatical, just traveling the world, still chiming in to help everyone understand what's going on. Where are you right now?
I'm probably about, 15 minutes away from where you are,
Not
but
far.
I'm at the Cincinnati Open watching tennis, and I just watched the world number one, Carlos Alcaraz, courtside. So he was hitting some balls practicing against a Cincinnati native, J.J. Wolf. So go J.J., but Alcaraz is, one and only. So it's not often you get to see the world number one, literally 20 feet away from you. So. And the weather is fantastic, as you can all see.
That's neat. Did he miss hit any, or he's just a machine? I mean, I guess number one's number
He's a
one, right?
machine.
Yeah.
He was belting it. So, yeah, he's
Where's
a
he
bit of a
from?
machine.
Where's he from? You know?
Spain.
Okay,
Spain.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
He just won Wimbledon and
Yep.
all of that. So, yeah, he's I think 10 years from now, it'll probably be, talking about him as one of the best of all time.
And you can say you saw him win. You saw him win.
In Cincinnati, of all places.
There you go. So let's get into it. There are some good things happening out there. Listen, there
Yes.
are very real worries.
Wouldn't you know?
What's that?
No, I said, wouldn't you know?
Yeah, wouldn't you know? Exactly. I mean, we just had one of the best 4-day rallies we've seen all year, right? Stocks have done really well. A week ago, we were talking about the yen carry trade, the Fed behind the 8 ball. We talked about a lot of these very big concerns. We saw Japanese stock markets crashing, but then a funny thing happened. Some of those really big worries, were they overblown, Sonu? I mean, and again, we'll talk about August. These things seem to always happen in August. I'll talk about that. But were we overblown about the yen carry trade? I mean, what do you think about that?
I think it was a big deal in terms of what it was. I think markets always tend to overreact. It's always about, yes, you have some worry or the other. It's not to minimize it. You may have even geopolitical events, right? And then the question is how, our business is all about trying to figure out how will markets react to it. And markets tend to, it's either underreact or overreact. There's never a perfectly calibrated response to these things, right? Market sort of feels its way. And I think last week was, I don't want to say overreaction, but yeah, we stretched too far in one direction. Suddenly you saw a big spike in volatility. Markets went down. And now, as you said, we've rallied for 4 days straight.
Yeah, it's almost like the market's a 2-year-old, because this bull market is about 2 years old. The way they're
There you go.
volatile when you bring things up. But again, we've had some decent economic data. I mean, some employment improvements. We saw services makes up a big part of our economy, came in stronger than expected. Earnings season is wrapping up. We had another solid earnings season overall. Are there cracks out there? Absolutely. The unemployment rate, I think we talked about it last week, is trickling a little bit higher. There are some potential cracks out there, but it doesn't mean we're going into a recession, right?
Exactly. And then you think about, what's to come. The Federal Reserve potentially cutting interest rates. That could boost the housing sector. We just saw, interest rates fall in anticipation of that. So mortgage rates have fallen. We saw a 35% increase from last week in mortgage refinancing data, Ryan. So talk about, we always talk about dry powder, cash on the sidelines. The real dry powder, a lot of people have bought homes at 7.5% mortgage rates, and now suddenly they can refinance at 6.5%. That's in anticipation, of course, like I said, the Federal Reserve cutting rates. Why would we expect them to do that? You and I have talked about them needing to do it last month, if not 2 months ago. But look, inflation's easing. We just got CPI this morning. Again, all signs point to inflation being normal, similar to what we saw before the pandemic.
Exactly. And I think I hear the crowd cheering behind you as you talk about some of these potential positives that are out there. But listen, here's another way to look at this. It's August, okay? For whatever reason, August seems to have these out of the blue events. So, 1990, Iraq invades Kuwait. 1991, the Russian coup.
Right.
1997, Asian contagion. 1998, what was it? 1998. It was the
Russian ruble crisis.
Yeah, 2011, we had the U.S. debt downgrade. 2010 was the European banking crisis. 2015, the yuan surprise devaluation out of China, and now add the yen carry trade to 2024. Maybe it's random, maybe it's not. I just think investors need to know all those months I just mentioned, August, all those things, those were down significantly. I mean, in 98, stocks had a bear market. Stocks lost like 20%, okay, in August of 98. Yet they still recovered every single time.
And that
I think
was a
there's a
good
lot
year,
of
right, for the
similarities
market?
with right now and 2015 with the surprise won devaluation. People forget this. That was the first 1,000-point drop ever on the Dow. And believe me, on a percentage basis, 1,000 points way back then was a lot different than it is now. That was a much more volatile period. In 2011, we saw like a bear market in 5 days on the S&P 500.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
pulled back, ballpark 8-9% on this one. And believe me, it was scary when it happened. But now calmer heads are coming in. And overall, Sonu, let's just know it is what it is. August seems to upset the apple cart. Let's see. We've got about another minute or so. What else you want to focus on here?
No, I mean, along that same theme, you mentioned earnings. We're kind of wrapping up earnings season. You know, one thing CEOs, CFOs haven't mentioned: recession.
The word recession. Yeah.
They haven't mentioned the word recession, or barely, right? So they're doing well. They're doing, things are going fine on that side, like I said. And that's, you look, like I said, our business is about
Yep.
anticipating and figuring out how markets will react to certain things and how the economy will react in the future, not what it did in the past, right? And I think the big deal is the Federal Reserve pivoting here. I think what we're going to look forward to is, you know, how is the Fed now viewing the balance of risks?
Mm.
Last year, this time, the risks were skewed to the inflation side of their mandate.
Yep.
Now, I think as you said, the unemployment rate is going up. It's pretty clear to all of us, I think, who market watchers, participants, investors, that risks are clearly skewed to the employment side of their mandate. The question is, will they talk about it in that way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. And you look at what the Fed fund futures are saying, what the market's betting on. The market is saying that. We've been saying that for a while, that some rate cuts are coming, and that could be positives. It can unlock a lot with the housing market, unlock a lot when it comes to small business and small business
Yep.
investments. But again, we call this Take 5 for a reason. We've been talking for about 5 minutes. And Sonu, you need to go back and watch. Who are you watching later today? Who's the big one that's playing actually in the matches?
The number one seed, I'd say, well, the number one player in the world, like I said, Carlos Alcaraz,
Yep.
but Sinner is going to be playing. He's the number one seed here in Cincinnati.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to seeing him later today. I'm here probably till like 10 p.m. at night.
Hey, that's I'm sure there's worse places to be. You're having fun on your sabbatical. And Sonu, thanks for joining us. And everyone, thanks for coming back every week. You keep listening to these, watching them. We will keep doing them. This is your latest Carson Take 5. There is some good news out there. We'll be back next week to talk about whatever's happening then. See everybody then, and enjoy the tennis matches, Sonu. Take care, everyone.
All right, thank you.